Some great stuff coming up for you, too. The subject of our special program this week, the previews of coming attractions, or the trailers, as the movie industry traditionally calls them. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
Now, instead of reviewing the new movies, what we're going to do this week is review the trailers for the new movies, and we'll talk about how Hollywood sells its movies. Now, most modern movie trailers look pretty much the same. They have lots and lots of quick shots of all the highlights in a film, all edited together into a blinding montage of sound and fury. But in the golden days of Hollywood, the trailers were sometimes original little short subjects that had a real little personality of their own. And after we review some of the newest coming attraction trailers, we're going to go back and look at some of the classics. Gene starts with the trailer for Beverly Hills Cop 2, which is one of next month's most eagerly awaited movies.
Before we get to that, I want to make one point very clear, that whether or not we like these coming attractions trailers, that's not going to have any bearing on whether we like the movies. We'll judge those separately, too. This is just judging the trailers. And that needs to be said because the first coming attractions trailer I'm going to review, in my opinion, isn't very good. And it is, as Roger said, for probably the most eagerly anticipated mass audience film of the summer, Beverly Hills Cop 2. To me, the trailer has too many short bursts of things I think I've seen before. Now, you take a look and see if you think this film is going to be as good as the first Beverly Hills Cop picture.
Get out of here, you degenerate! I want you out of here!
Is this a black thing?
Hey! Tell your alarm, you're gonna break it! I need authorization. Authorize!
Are we having a problem here?
You have to! Ask the Foley! And this is Max. And Max kills cops for a living! This thing, I'm serious! We're gonna break work! I don't know, I haven't tried again!
Kill them, burn them, blow them away.
Don't worry about the thing, on the job! That's what I'm afraid of!
Eddie Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop 2. The heat's back on.
Of course, they give you the Eddie Murphy laugh at the end. But the real sin here is that they make this seem like just another chase picture. So many shots of them driving the truck. Who cares? My idea for a better trailer? Eddie Murphy's the star. Have him look right into the camera and say, maybe Beverly Hills Cop 2 won't be as good as the first one. Maybe it'll be better. There's only one way you're going to find out, and it's going to make me rich. And then have him give the famous Eddie Murphy laugh.
That would be a great sell. And what it would also sell would be Eddie Murphy's personality. If there was a flaw in Beverly Hills Cop 1, and there were a lot of them, I didn't think that movie was nearly as good as it should have been. It was that it was all chases and shootouts because it was written for Stallone, and it didn't have enough of Eddie Murphy's personality in it. What we get the idea from in this trailer is that once again, no Eddie Murphy, no humor, just crashes and shootouts. And one other thing, now we've seen the entire trailer. We're able to show some of it, but not all of it here. On the basis of that trailer, which is 2.5 minutes long, you and I could sit down with a legal pad and reconstruct the entire movie and probably not be off by about one plot twist.
They always tell too much. And you know why they do? Because they paid so much for those car crashes. They think that the executives say, hey, where are the car crashes I paid for? Put them up on the screen. And my little trailer, my idea, Cost them 15 cents.
Every time I see a car crash in a trailer, I think this is like every other movie. Okay, next coming attraction. Our next preview trailer is for Full Metal Jacket, the new Vietnam film by Stanley Kubrick, who is generally considered to be one of the greatest living directors and certainly one of the great perfectionists among filmmakers. Kubrick makes his films in complete secrecy. He shot this Vietnam movie entirely on sound stages in England, and he supervises every aspect of its release, and that includes personally directing his trailers. So this coming attraction trailer is not by an ad agency, not by marketing experts, it's by Stanley Kubrick himself.
The enemy has very deceitfully taken advantage of the Tet ceasefire to launch an offensive all over the country. In Saigon, the United States Embassy has been overrun by suicide squads. Khe Sanh is standing by to be overrun. We also have reports that a division of NVA has occupied all of the city of Hue south of the Perfume River. In strategic terms, Charlie's cut the country in half. The civilian press are about to wet their pants, and we've heard even Cronkite's going to say the war is now unwinnable.
Sir, does this mean that Anne Margaret's not coming?
Whose side are you on, son?
Our side, sir.
Don't you love your country?
Yes, sir.
Then how about getting with the program? Why don't you jump on the team and come on in for the big win?
Yes, sir.
Son, all I've ever asked of my Marines is to obey my orders as they would the word of God. We are here to help the Vietnamese because inside every gook is an American trying to get out. It's a hardball world, son. We've got to keep our heads until this peace craze blows over.
Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket.
Now, as we mentioned before, neither Gene or I have seen even a single scene from any of these new movies. They're not going to be released for a couple more, 3-4 weeks. We're looking at these trailers cold, just like potential customers.
Right.
And looking at Full Metal Jacket, I had a couple of very strong impressions. To begin with, it looks like the film is apparently a comedy.
Yeah.
A sardonic, satirical black comedy in the tradition of Kubrick's masterpiece, Dr. Strangelove. Now, I didn't know that until I saw this trailer. If you'd asked me, I would have guessed this movie was a drama.
Yep.
In the second place, this is a very strong piece of filmmaking. It plays on its own as an effective short film. It somehow gives me confidence that this is going to be a good movie, and it made me curious to see it. So this trailer did its job.
Oh, it did its job beautifully. First of all, it starts out very solemnly about Vietnam, and I think, boy, is this going to be better than Platoon? I don't know. It's Kubrick. It's going to be better than Platoon. Then it starts to have some funny stuff in there. I said, oh, my God, he's really going to make fun or have fun with Vietnam.
Yeah,
he had fun with blowing up the world in Strangelove. It was brilliant. This could be brilliant, too. Let me see the picture.
Well, I guess if a customer is sitting there saying, let me see the picture, the trailer has worked. Coming up next, we'll review another preview for one of the summer's biggest films, Brian De Palma's The Untouchables.
You fellas are untouchable. Is that the thing? No one can get to you?
Continuing now our discussion of movie coming attractions trailers, up for review next, a film due to be released, The Untouchables, the big movie screen version of the small screen TV show about federal agent Elliot Ness and his band of untouchable G-men who helped bring down Al Capone. Now, I have mixed feelings about this trailer. I can't wait to see this picture because I'm such a fan of the TV show, and it stars some of my favorite actors, but there are chunks of this trailer that don't seem to make sense, where the Untouchables and a Chicago cop working with them, played by Sean Connery, seem to be in the Northwest, far away from Capone's gin meals. I don't get it. The trailer also slaps on, almost as an afterthought, heavy Italian music, trying to suggest, I guess, that it's as operatic as The Godfather. That really comes from out of the blue. And Robert De Niro's face as Capone, which we're all eager to see, changes wildly in this preview, which doesn't give me a lot of confidence in the film.
Want to get Capone? Here's how you get him. He pulls a knife. You pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital. You send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago way. You just joined the Treasury Department, son. Everybody knows where the booze is. The problem isn't finding it. Let's do some good! The problem is who wants to cross the pond.
Somebody messes with me, I'm gonna mess with him.
You carry a bag?
Yes.
Carry a gun.
Get your hands in the air! You're all under arrest.
You fellas are untouchable. Is that the thing? No one can get to you? Hey, everybody can be gotten to.
All right, then. Drive him to the station. Anything happens, you shoot first. You understand me?
Well, I'll tell you one more thing. You got an all-out prize fight, you wait till the fight's over, one guy's left standing, and that's how you know who won.
Just tell me, are you being careful?
Careful as mice.
I want to hurt the man Malone. I want to start taking the battle to him. I want to hurt Capone.
This man can finger Al Capone. This man can put Capone behind bars.
Well, what's the matter? Can't you talk with a gun in your mouth?
You're not to prove your methods. Yeah? Well, you're not from Chicago.
I want you to find this Nancy boy, Elliot Ness. I want him dead. I want his family dead.
I love the scene, though, with Connery in the church, telling Kevin Costner, one of the Untouchables, how he's got to get Capone the Chicago way. I might have pared down the trailer to those two versus Capone, with just a few bombs thrown in. But right now, what we've got is a trailer that promises so many different things that leaves me wondering if the film itself is spread too thin.
Well, the basic approach of this trailer is the same as Beverly Hills Cop, which is bang, 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 scene, 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 but a little slower and with a little drama allowed to build. And also, of course, you can see almost in the background, you get a feel for the fact that this must have been a big budget picture. It's got some neat sets, some good locations. You get the feeling that maybe it's not going to be a cheap version of a TV show, but a very expensive film.
But Roger, with these stars, with this director, weren't you hoping for a better trailer?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay,
because if De Palma had directed the trailer instead of it just being sliced together, you know, with a Vegematic
by some ad agency,
it might have been a little film of its own. Coming up next, we'll look at the way Hollywood used to sell its coming attractions when they did make nice little films for each film.
Que sera, sera.
You're right. That was a gunshot you heard.
On this special program, we're taking a look at the trailers, the previews of coming attractions. And after looking at those 3 trailers for new movies that we haven't seen yet, we thought it might be fun to take a look back in time to the very different styles of trailers in the golden days, the old days. I want to start with the trailer for Alfred Hitchcock's 1954 version of The Man Who Knew Too Much. The movie starred James Stewart, and here's the surprising thing, so did the trailer. Stewart himself hosted the preview.
We flew to London for backgrounds of a whole strange series of events that ended up that final night in the great concert hall, where the cue for murder was one single crash of the cymbals.
James Stewart must have had a real regard for Hitchcock because he not only came in on his day off to act in that trailer, but he also did special work for the trailers of at least 2 other Hitchcock films, Rope and Rear Window. What I like about that approach is that you get the sense that people really did work on these movies. They didn't make themselves, and they were proud of their work. And also in a subtle way, the trailer calls attention to the craft of filmmaking in a low-key way. It's almost educational. Here's an actor discussing the part he plays in a fairly rational way and without a lot of oversell and hyperbole.
That's the other thing. You've got one of the most trusted actors. Look, we love these stars. Yeah. We'll listen to them do anything. We'll follow them doing ridiculous things. Right. Of course, if they just talk to us, aren't you dying to see Jack Nicholson on a TV show? He doesn't do it. So here you get to see Jimmy Stewart just talk to us. It's the most natural approach. It's wonderful. I mean, I want to tell you, that trailer is better than the movie The Man Who Knew Too Much. That's how good that trailer is. That's a perfect trailer.
You're right. I'm thinking back to The Man Who Knew Too Much, which is Doris Day, Que Sera, Sera.
There's some errors in the film. There's no errors in the trailer.
You're right. Okay.
Here's an oldie almost as good as the last one. It's for a Warner Brothers crime film, not unlike The Untouchables. It's For Each Dawn I Die from 1939, with Jimmy Cagney playing a wrongly accused newspaperman stuck in prison with a very real mobster played by George Raff. What I love about this trailer is the colorful language of the announcer, describing these actors as firebrands of the screen clashing together for the first time. Now that's writing that sells.
Nor can we condemn too harshly your vicious assertion that you were...
Frame. Yes, Your Honor, frame.
How tough are you, babe?
James
Cagney and George Rath. Firebrands of the screen clashing for the first time. Two sticks of human dynamite thrown together in a man-made inferno, where each desperate convict lives only for the moment when he can smash his vengeance against those who condemned him.
I'm doing life. 199 years, so no pardon, no parole. And you can't crash over those walls in a million years. The only chance is to get to the courthouse and try it from there.
And where do I come in?
See, I love them having the guts to lay big, bold selling words over the actors' faces. Today, no actor of Cagney's stature would stand for it. You're going to put words on top of my face? No way. My agent will see you about this. But we can still sense that Cagney's behind those words. Don't they know we can look through the cracks? Don't we know it's Jimmy Cagney? And the guys at Warner Brothers knew it too. If I were a kid watching that trailer back in 1939, I'd kill to get into that movie, even though my parents would say, it's for adults, Gene. You can't go.
And you know, the funny thing is, it's still for adults. If you look at these guys, they were younger when they made that movie than we are now, and they still seem older, you know.
The way Cagney interrupts the judge. You know you want to go to the movie to see that one scene. He just waits a beat there and then interrupts it framed or something like that.
When we come back, we'll look at two of the greatest trailers ever made for two of the greatest movies ever made, Citizen Kane and Psycho.
In that window on the second floor, the single one in front, that's where the woman was first seen.
Now it's time for what is usually the weekly video segment of our program, where we talk about movies you can rent on video, and today we want to use it to look at two of the best trailers we've ever seen. Trailers that are available, by the way, on video. I'm going to begin with a trailer that Orson Welles directed for Citizen Kane, and right from the top, look at the dramatic way here that Welles draws attention to himself by not showing himself.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Orson Welles. I'm speaking for the Mercury Theater, and what follows is supposed to advertise our first motion picture. Citizen Kane is the title, and we hope it can correctly be called a coming attraction. It's certainly coming to this theater, and I think our Mercury actors make it an attraction. Smile! Joseph Cotton, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Joseph Cotton, I think you're going to see a lot of him. Here's Ruth Warwick, whom I know you love. Ruth. Look at the camera, Ruth. We caught Ruth with her hair up. And here's somebody you've all heard on the radio, so I don't have to tell you he's wonderful, Ray Collins. Dorothy Commengore is a name I'm going to repeat. Dorothy Commengore. I won't have to repeat it much longer. You'll be repeating it. And here's George Coulouris, who's a grand actor. I'll say that name again. George Coulouris. Watch it. Here comes Everett Sloan. Look out, Everett. Oops. Everett Sloan, ladies and gentlemen, he isn't necessarily a comedian.
Welles had fun with the optical illusion there, and of course there were visual tricks and special effects all through Citizen Kane. The trailer continues by showing all the principal characters in the movie talking on the telephone about Charles Foster Kane, and their bits were shot especially for the trailer. In the movie, none of them have the same dialogue or speak on the phone. Orson Welles, the master showman, was having fun with the coming attractions trailer. The Citizen Kane trailer is available, by the way, on the Criterion Collection's Laserdisc edition of the movie.
Roger, look what we... first of all, what I enjoy so much is how he introduces these players and repeats their name. And do you see the theme that's running through what we've been discussing? We say sell the stars naturally, and what they're doing in Hollywood today is selling crashes and trucks.
They're selling the expensive special effects instead of selling the story and the people.
Boy, if there's ever been a case to show how the movies have changed, I didn't think we'd discover it on this show, but we have. They've gone away from actors and characterizations to special effects.
Away from humans and toward technology.
They are talking with their bumpers instead of their mouths. And that's the exact opposite of what Alfred Hitchcock does with the trailer that he directed and starred in for Psycho, which he narrates in his typically droll but threatening manner, first taking us to the staircase inside the creepy house where Martin Balsam gets knifed.
Now, it was at the top of these stairs that the second murder took place. She came out of the door there and met the victim at the top. Of course, in a flash, there was the knife, and in no time, the victim tumbled and fell with a horrible crash. I think the back broke immediately. It hit the floor. It's difficult to describe the way that the twisting of the. Well, it's
That sells so much better than giving away the famous scene itself, which is what they'd probably do today, as does Hitchcock's preparation for what goes on inside the bathroom of cabin number 1.
Well, the murderer, you see, crept in here very slowly. Of course, the shower was on, there was no sound. And
yeah, it's scary, but only at the end. See, Hitchcock was really being smart here, I think. He knew he had made a very violent film that might turn off a lot of viewers if they were sold it that way. It might have even invited a lot of censorship back in 1960. So he makes this delightful little comedic tour of horrors, and we all go to the movie thinking, oh, this is going to be fun and a little scary. Old Alfred's there to help us. It's going to be cute. Maybe the Trouble with Harry with a little dead body lying around. And it's fun, all right, but it turns out to be very scary. Psycho, for that reason, I think, because of the trick that he is playing on us and so beautifully doing it, Psycho is my favorite coming attractions trailer of all time, and it is available on tape from San Francisco Rush Video.
You know, in preparing for this show, I looked at dozens of trailers on tape from various sources, and here's a funny thing.
I know what you're going to say.
I want to go out now and look at the movies. I've got to rent them, you know, because I was
Each Dawn I Die.
in many cases, yes.
Each Dawn I Die, I want to see again.
Yeah.
I mean, the other ones I think we've all seen recently.
Jezebel, I've never seen with Betty Davis, and the trailer sold me on that.
Okay. Dark Victory got me. That was a very good trailer. Yeah. Okay, that's it for this week. Coming up next week, how about these coming attractions? Gardens of Stone, Francis Coppola's new film about Vietnam with James Caan as a veteran soldier looking out for a young volunteer. And River's Edge, a murder mystery about a bunch of kids who discover one of their classmates has been strangled. That's next week. That's next week. That's next week. And until then, the balcony is closed. That ought to get them to watch.
Nestle Crunch. It's creamy milk chocolate and crispy crunchies. Chocolate is scrunchious when it crunches. That's why you'll love Nestle Crunch. Fly free with finesse on American Airlines. Look for details and $1.50 in coupons in your May 17th Sunday paper. Nothing less than beautiful. Nothing less than finesse. New Glade Litter Fresh. Cat lovers will love the way new Litter Fresh works to eliminate litter box odors. Reuniti Natural Peach. It's bursting with a luscious taste of fresh peach. Reuniti Natural Peach.